a good way to think about new tools that can support our system, such as a CRM. A CRM is also a good way to follow up our members into their JCI journey, I would say, but also to think about a more digital marketing strategy to attract new members, nurture with the content, newsletter, and so on, and then to detect the right moment to get into physical interaction with a new future members, and where this interaction is actually the right moment where people has a good brand awareness, I would say, and then you really improve your efficiency into new members recruitment. Just to be a little bit quick, because I'm running out of time, is also, so I was saying it's that the situation is twofold, is leveraging digital transformation as an organization and also for yourself as a JC. As a JC, I think it's important also to, on a regular basis, even though it's not your job, to better understand what are technologies and what they are bringing to the society, because it's also a good way to build personal convictions, personal opinion about it, and especially if we want to play an active role in society, because it's a debate of society right now. So we are talking about ethics in artificial intelligence, we are talking about security, we are talking about one concept I think really interesting, because people sometimes are afraid of technologies, and we see how powerful it can be in education for person. For example, the business model was completely changed, but also we are talking about for our training policy as an NGO. But I like the concept of being a bionic organization, and it's a concept made by a consulting organization, but it's quite interesting. It's to understand that in this situation, it's not a battle between technologies and human being. It's how do you establish a culture that encourage bringing machines and humans together to be stronger. So it's creating what we call a bionic organization that combines the best of what machine can tell us and what human can do. And this is definitely something we need to consider as an active citizen. Yeah, I'm done.
Yes, Sophie.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry that we are running out of time, so we have pre-allocated times for each speaker. So we can continue on the we can continue the questions for your rest of the session. So listeners, please post your questions on the chat box so we can post it to our speakers in the question and answer roundtable. So I'll hand it over to Khalid to introduce to our next speaker.
All right, thank you so much, Sophie, for that. I think it's very exciting to hear about us being able to disrupt the business model. And I do know that COVID-19 has really made digital transformation even more relevant. And I was happy that you were able to touch on that. So it is my pleasure to introduce our next presenter, Mohamed Hijazi, who is the 2020 JCI Vice President, and he's assigned to Benin, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, Djibouti, Ghana, Madagascar, Mauritius, Nigeria, and Togo. He holds dual degrees in marketing, communication, and biology from the American University of Beirut, and is a leading communications consultant, trainer, and digital strategist. He's a pioneer in digital marketing. He was one of the earliest to educate businesses on the importance of digital transformation in Lebanon and the Middle East. He's certified from the United States State Department and Google. He consulted for international organizations, including European Union, United Nations, and others. His expertise includes creating and implementing marketing strategies, business training. He's an influencer and public relations specialist, copywriting, and project management. And he has co-authored a book entitled Contemporary Management. He joined JCI Beirut in 2014 and served as national president of JCI Lebanon in 2018. He served as the 2019 Skills Development Committee member for Africa and the Middle East in 2019, and he has motivated over 1,000 members worldwide. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in welcoming Mohamed Hijazi, who will give us some insights into JCI branding. Mohamed, it's over to you.
Thank you very much, Khalid, for the introduction, and I'm very happy to be here with you all. And thank you very much for the speakers for their valuable insights, and for the Digital Transformation Committee for setting up this event. So today I'll be talking about what the JCI brand is and how we can use it effectively. Because unfortunately, I've been seeing a lot of organizations that are not using it in the right way online. So I'll be sharing in my slides, and let's talk about what the JCI brand is about. So first of all, let's talk about what is a brand. So brands are icons of our society. They reflect our personal preferences, values, and lifestyle. A brand does not just represent tangible things such as a label or a logo or a flyer or a feature. It does not consist of only rational benefits. A brand lives in the heart and the mind of the public. Brands represent an emotional connection that usually is reaching far beyond rational reasoning and logic. So the primary purpose of a registered trademark as well is to prevent people from becoming confused about the source or the origin of a product or a service. Trademarks help people answer the question, who makes this product or who provides this service? As people become familiar with JCI's mark and the services it represents, it can acquire a secondary meaning as an indicator of quality. Thus, established trademarks help people answer another question, which is this product or service a good one? So for this reason, JCI's trademark is a valuable asset worth of protection, and managing it is an important responsibility. The objective of JCI's corporate identity is to present well-articulated, consistent, and legally protected corporate identity, to lay the foundation for recognition of and the preference for JCI among members, partners, suppliers, sponsors, and the general public, and also to demonstrate the essence of the JCI brand. So now let's talk a little bit about what is the logo and brand identity. So the reason why we use a logo and visual identity for any organization is to evoke the feelings and ideas associated with an organization through its brand, and to identify the source of an event, object, or person. It's also about reflecting the mood of any piece of communication, from newsletters to signs to apparel, the clothes that we wear, to ensure that every point of contact an individual has with JCI reflects the same tone. And it means that an individual can easily identify JCI as one unified organization in every community where it's found. So a logo and a visual identity, when used consistently and paired with consistent messages and experiences, can evoke the feeling and ideas associated with an organization through its brand. It is like a fingerprint that identifies the source of an event, object, or person. It reflects the mood of any piece of communication, as we said, from newsletters to signs to apparel. So this does not necessarily mean that every piece of communication should look exactly the same. It means that an individual can easily identify JCI as one unified organization. So any communication that is generated by JCI, and hereby I mean JCI, the national, local, headquarters, and regional levels, should always reflect the passion that JCI members have for the betterment of our society. In order to understand the JCI brand, we also have to understand and realize how deep and important the history of our organization is. And as you all know, we've started in 1915 with the founding of the JCI movement in St. Louis, and the first national convention ever held was in 1920, whereas the first Inter-American Congress that happened in Mexico took place in 1944. The first World Congress that happened in Panama took place in 1946, while the adoption of the JCI Creed that we still use to this day happened in 1951. The first national president, female national president elected, was in JCI Nepal in 1971. And our partnership with the United Nations was established in 1981. In 1994, we're celebrating 50 years of international actions. And in 2002, our headquarters was relocated to St. Louis after it was operating in Tulsa, Florida for 50 years. In 2004, we adopted the Millennium Development Goals that later on in 2015 became the Sustainable Development Goals. In 2008, we partnered with the Nothing But Nets Foundation to combat malaria. And in 2010, we adopted the Active Citizenship Framework. In 2015, we celebrated the 100-year anniversary. And in 2016, we launched the Peace is Possible campaign. And then in 2017, we partnered with the World Cleanup Day. So why am I mentioning all of these milestones? And there's a lot of much more milestones you can check on the JCI website. All of these milestones really determine who we are as an organization. And it shows you that even ever since 1971, we had a female leader in our organization when most organizations and countries were all dominated by men. So in order to understand that we are the leading network of young active citizens, we have to really go back to our history. So now let's talk about the JCI logo. In order to understand the JCI logo, you can see that the JCI logo has two components, the logo type, which says JCI, and the JCI shield. Now, the shield symbol was originally used by the US Junior Chamber to represent one who protects or defends. As active citizens, JCI members were and are expected to protect and defend their communities around the world. Originally, the US Junior Chamber used a map of the United States inside the shield. When the organization became international, the map was replaced by the globe symbol, which is a map of the world from the North Pole in the center. It is the exact same globe symbol used by the United Nations. As one of the first non-governmental organizations with special consultative status in the UN, JCI was given permission at that time to use the UN symbol within our logo. Each JCI organization used a version of this mark with their organization name incorporated in their own way. Until in 2003, all JCI organizations were asked to unite under the name JCI and follow the current version of the JCI corporate identity guidelines. So now I would like to see if you can identify which usage of the logo is correct. So we have a short exercise that we can do. Using your mobile phone, or if you're on your laptop, go to menti.com and enter this code 271943. You can see it on the screen. And then I would like you to choose which of these 12 options that you have on the screen signify the correct usage of the JCI logo. And then we're going to discuss them one by one. So I will give you 1 or 2 minutes to go on menti.com. Once again, if you can see the code 271943 and choose which logos are correct. So you can choose more than one logo.
Newsletter printed or electronic versions given to members, partners en supporters. Aan het eind van elk kwartaal wordt er een nieuwsbrief uitgebracht van alles dat is gedaan in dat kwartaal. En ik denk dat het vroeger zo was, dat het werd geprint. Maar nu op dit moment...
Please continue, Mohammed. We are trying to ask Roger Wrong to cut his mic.
Yes, I'm just waiting for you to please join the menti.com and vote on which ones you think are the correct versions of the logo, and then we can discuss that.
Wonderful.
So are the instructions clear? I can see some of you have started voting.
Few have actually answered from the chat box. Others have taken on the
If you can assist me in adding the link to the chat box. Or actually, I'm doing it myself.
Yes, the link was already added to the chat box.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'll give you maybe around 30 more seconds before we can discuss the results. Okay, let's see how everyone is doing.